welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, Am I the A-hole for telling my girl to stop being a B and apologize? And a big shout out to Joseph for sending me this story. And guys, this is all about a guy. He's 25 years old, same thing with his girl. They've been together in a relationship for 3 years, thought that he had a good thing going, but ultimately kicks her to the curb, and she has a meltdown over this because a certain event that happens truly reveals her true colors. And those colors ain't that pretty. Quite malicious, actually. And you're going to see the story here is that this girlfriend of his, she discovered, I guess a couple of years earlier, that she has a half-sister. She didn't know about this her whole life, but recently found out she had a half-sister. Her mother was obviously a carousel rider before she met this guy's girlfriend's dad, and abandoned the girl. And also, that girl's had a tough life, and this girlfriend of his, who he's talking about in this story here, is just absolutely horrible to her. And you're going to see that does it for this guy here. And I thought it'd be a very good one to go over here, guys, to make the point. Why I say all the time, if you're a relationship guy, and you're even crazy enough to consider marriage in today's world, given the stories you hear all the time, you must spend years really getting to know your girl. Or if you're a woman, years getting to know your guy. Because you need to see what they're really like when life's events cross their path. How they handle various situations, how they are with money, how they are with a crisis, how they are with their credit, how they are with their families, how they are with other people, how they treat strangers, things like that. That will show you who they are. And if you're not with them that long, you're not going to get to see that. And that way, and if you don't, if you're not careful, then you marry them, and then you find out who they really are, and it's too late. By getting to know them, spending a long time with them, you see how they treat other people, strangers, all that. If you see them being very malicious to other people and things like that, guarantee you, the second you get on that girl's bad side, you're going to get the same treatment. So it's very important to understand that. So this guy here definitely dodges a big one here. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So it starts off, he says here, so I, a 25-year-old male, and my girl, a 25-year-old female, let's call her Alexa, have been together for 3 years. A few days ago, it was her brother George's wedding, and we attended. Us and a few of our friends were at the same table later at the venue. It turns out my girlfriend's half-sister, a 26-year-old female, let's call her Rachel, was invited and was assigned to the same table as me and my girlfriend. I have to note that Rachel is my mother-in-law's daughter. She had right before she had Alexa, and then completely abandoned Rachel with her dad to live with her life with Alexa's dad. Okay, so let's review. His girlfriend is his girlfriend's Alexa. Alexa found out just a few years ago that she had a half-sister. Her mother was a carousel rider, got pregnant, had Rachel, and then just abandoned the father and Rachel. That's it, goodbye. All these years. And now, obviously, there's a reconnection here. This Alexa girl doesn't like competition and is very malicious. She's the wicked sister, the wicked half-sister. It says here, they hadn't found out about Rachel's existence until the mother-in-law confessed to George that she had a daughter back before them. So George reached out and found Rachel, and she was happy to maintain a relationship with them. But Alexa was completely against it and didn't even want to meet her. Because Alexa's thinking, I'm the only diva in this story. I'm not going to have competition. That's why Rachel and Alexa don't get along. This was 4 years back. I also have to say that I have met Rachel and we get along very well. So everybody seems to like, Rachel. Everybody seems to like the half-sister. George, the brother of this guy's girlfriend. This dude telling the story here, not Alexa. Since Rachel didn't know anyone else at the wedding, George put her at the same table as me and Alexa and our friends. The second Alexa saw her, her mood changed. She kept throwing little innocent insults at her, and he says innocent in quotes, insults at her, and said she was just joking. No, she wasn't. Rachel didn't really seem to mind until Alexa said, "So Rachel, how's your dad?" I almost lost it then. Rachel's dad passed away when she was 15 years old, and everyone knew. What a bitch. How's your dad? Knowing full well that he died like 11 years earlier. First, this girl was abandoned by her mother. Then the dad dies when she's 15. This girl's had a tough life. And she's just rubbing her nose in it. I mean, this is the point I'm making, that you spend time with your girl, or a gal with a guy, to see how they treat other people, and things like that. Right then and there, your true colors have been shown. Goodbye. Rachel didn't say anything, but just looked at her with almost pitiful look. She then excused herself and went to get a drink. I turned to Alexa and told her that if she doesn't stop being a bitch and apologizes, I will leave her right then and there. Well, good for him for calling her on her crap, and she was being way worse than the B word. He could have been saying the C word. That would be certainly warranted here. At least I think so. But I would have left. That's it. I would have left with Rachel. Alexa got defensive, saying that I'm defending Rachel because I'm attracted to her, and that I want to give her a pity, F-U-C-K. Yeah, that's what it really is. It's not at all because you're being a complete a-hole. Because she's the poor orphan. She said that in front of everyone. This is like some high school mean girl shit. And she's there with all her little crony girlfriends there, who are probably just too afraid of her to call her on her crap either. What a fucking bully. I ignored her for the rest of the night, and when it was time to leave, I left her at home and went to sleep at my house. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole. She was being a total B. She's evil. And by the way, I want to point out, the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. Her mother's an a-hole, and she's an a-hole. And I don't want to hear any pity for her, thinking because mom was a bad example. No. She's 25 years old, behaving like a classic mean girl teenager in junior high or high school. No. The only way he could be an a-hole is he didn't break up with her right then and there. But don't worry, our guy here will handle things right. Now, there's a few comments that were added to this to reveal some info on the story that he didn't reveal yet. Somebody asked him, was Alexa, George, and Rachel's mom at the wedding? Was there any sort of reconciliation ever between the mom and Rachel? And he says, yes, she was. But George made sure she was seated at the table far from ours. She was out of Rachel's sight. She didn't even acknowledge the fact that Rachel was there. And I don't think Rachel came for any reconciliation, but only for George's wedding, since they've been hanging out a lot as siblings. Well, at least this poor Rachel girl got George. George sounds like a cool guy. So even the mother, after all these years, won't acknowledge her. Another guy says, did you say anything to Rachel afterwards? He says, at one point, we were left alone at the table, and I apologized for what Alexa said. Dude, you don't owe any apologies for what your a-hole girlfriend said. She told me that I don't have to apologize for other people's actions. Right. Another guy says here, you need to leave her completely, not just leave her at the venue. And he said, I didn't want to cause a scene at my friend's wedding. The incident was already enough, I think, but yes, I will break up and update y'all. Oh, there you go. Now for the update. He says, first of all, I want to thank everyone for their advices. I was going to break up with her anyways, but it's nice to know that people agree with me. Yeah, what I observed in the comment section, rarely, very rarely, most people agree that, yeah, she's an a-hole and get rid of her. Here's how it went down. I hadn't talked to Alexa much after the wedding because I was still very mad for her behavior. I stayed at my house and avoided her calls and attempts to contact me in any way. She came to my house twice, but I didn't answer the door. I wanted to think, and I made the post yesterday because I had started doubting if I was right. I now realize that I am. Dude, you were completely right in your actions. I went to her house this morning and asked her to talk. She started apologizing to me for what she said, but I told her that I'm not the one she should be apologizing to. Number one, the only reason she's saying she's sorry is because she's concerned that she might lose this guy. And believe me, the idea of apologizing to her arch nemesis, who in her mind is the arch nemesis, is like the worst thing possible. She realized what I meant and stopped talking. I kept going, and I told her that it's over between us and to never call me again. She started freaking out and said that she would apologize to Rachel if it meant I didn't break up with her. I agreed, knowing that I would leave her anyway, even if she apologized, because she's only doing it so I stay. Still, I wanted to hear her apologize because it was fair to Rachel. Well, he knows the apology is going to be bullshit, and Rachel guarantees going to know the apology is bullshit, but it's still going to piss the girlfriend off to have to do this. She called Rachel right then and there, and after a while, Rachel picked up. Alexa started telling her how she's so sorry for what she said, and has been eating her up for the past few days, and she can't sleep, etc., etc. What a steaming pile of crap. This guy knows it. That Rachel girl knows it. He says lies, and for what I saw, Rachel knew she was lying. I don't think Rachel even cared to hear an apology since she just simply said, okay, and hung up. Rachel actually sounds pretty cool. She had to grow up real quick, poor thing. Alexa turns to me and asks me, are you happy now? I wasn't, and I told her. I turned to leave and tell her that I'll come pick up my stuff while she's at work. She started freaking out and screaming at me how I tricked her into apologizing to a bastard. And it's not her fault her mom went around making mistakes before she and her, and how there's a reason Rachel was left by her mother. That's what she really thinks. She's calling her a bastard. It's not her fault. And that the mother, there's a reason that her mom left Rachel. She was a baby. It's not innocent. Oh my God. One nasty asshole acorn falls far from the asshole acorn tree. At that moment, I knew that whoever was in front of me is not the same person I fell in love with. No, not at all. I just left. She's been calling me for hours now, but I blocked her. Rachel called too, to ask if I'm still alive, since she learned from George that I broke up with Alexa. I told her that's good riddance, and I apologized again for the wedding incident. She once again told me that it's not my fault, so I don't have to apologize. So that is it. I'm quite happy to be honest, and it's not like I missed the toxicity. Thanks everyone for your comments. So I'm going to say what probably a good percentage of you all are thinking. This guy needs to go nail Rachel. That's what he needs to do. If Rachel is remotely attractive, he needs to go bang Rachel, and it will get out. Now, I'm joking because you know what? This guy doesn't need any more drama in his life. But you know what? Honestly, if he and Rachel get along, it sounds like Rachel's actually pretty cool, and given her life situation, is pretty down to earth. That'd be pretty funny. But I can tell you this guy's going to probably stay friends with the George dude, and obviously with Rachel, and you never know. But anyhow, guys, as you can see here, this is why you spend your time with your girl. Or if you're a girl, you spend your time with your guy, seeing what real life is like and how they are with other people and situations. I mean, a great way to always tell about someone is go out to dinner with them and see how they treat people in a service situation, a waiter, a waitress, something like that. If they are gracious and kind, okay, that's a good sign. But if they're bossing them around and treat them like scum, that says a lot about their character. And guaranteed, if this dude stayed with her, if he ever got on her bad side, he would be on the receiving end of all this venom. This gal is just venomous. The things she's saying to that, I mean, oh my God, but when it comes to women and their perceived competition, holy crap. I mean, you've all heard a lot of the jokes of how the gals can be at these beauty pageants, what they can be. Good Lord. But anyhow, a few comments here before I wrap this up. And believe me, everybody in the comment section is in agreement with this guy. One guy says here, not the a-hole. Your girlfriend is a classic bully and mean girl. She sounds absolutely insufferable. She's upset because she's no longer her mother's oldest child and is completely jealous of her half-sister for no reason whatsoever. The half-sister did not ask to be born or to be literally abandoned by her own mother. And your girlfriend, instead of being compassionate and a decent person, is exactly what you called her. Do you really want that kind of person as your girlfriend? A potential future wife and the mother of your own children? Hell no, she probably would abandon the kids too. Another guy says you're not the a-hole. She's incapable of empathy for someone who was literally abandoned by her mom, an orphan at 15 years old. I'm thinking she showed you and everyone at your table the hard person that she is, and she probably takes after her mother. I have known in my life some gals that really had some awful mothers. And it wasn't the girl's fault that their mother was awful to them. And down the road, decades later, they became just like their mothers. It's amazing how that turns out. It's terrible. I've also known some dudes that had some bad fathers, and down the road they became like their fathers. I shit you not. Another guy says here, like mother, like daughter. Her mother has conditioned her daughter to act like an a-hole. It's not Rachel's fault that their mother abandoned Rachel to be with Alexa's father. It was very cruel of Alexa to treat R that way. When you ask yourself, where does she get her shitty behavior? Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree with the mother. You may want to reevaluate your relationship with Alexa. This is a guy that commented prior to his update. And see if that is someone you want to spend the rest of your life with. I would say no, because it has bothered you in such a way that you have given her the cold shoulder. With good reason. I would have done the same. I think you'll get along with Rachel better, but I'm just reading a few paragraphs from you. I don't know if you're trying to be nice and come to Rachel's aid, or you may like her. I don't think this dude is going into the situation like that. I think he's just a good guy, and he's standing up for somebody that is being just treated horribly. You know, who knows? He may find her attractive, but it's like he's probably loyal to this Alexa chick up until this point. I would like to see that play out much better. I think Alexa is downright rude, and that you say you are the company you keep. So that being said, you were definitely not the a-hole for dropping Alexa off and going to your own house. I personally would have broken up with her right then and there. Ding, ding, ding. You deserve to be happy. OP, keep your options open. And the last one, guy says, you're not the a-hole. Toss a stinky fish back in the sea. She is passive-aggressive, instigator of drama. Life is too short to deal with that kind of stench. Well, sounds to me she's aggressive. I know it's a complicated family thing, but that was just shitty behavior. It's not that complicated. She's just an asshole. She can't even control herself through one meal, nor does she have the emotional intelligence needed to realize that her sister did not ask to be born. Rachel's in no way responsible for the events or choices that your girlfriend is mad about. At the end of the day, Alexa just wants to be the number one girl. There's only room for one diva, you know, and doesn't want competition. But that Rachel chick doesn't see as competition, but Alexa does. That is the real problem. She takes out her negative emotions on the innocent people. Take note. She's showing you who she really is. Is that the kind of viper you want around children? However, the person who did the seating arrangement was either a real a-hole or an accidental saint for letting you know just what the type of person your girlfriend is. This guy dodged a big one. A giant one. A fucking asteroid this guy dodged. Can you imagine being married to her? Good Lord. So we shall see what happens. There may never be an update to this whole thing, but I'm glad that guy, 25 years old, she's toast, move on. And I guarantee you this woman is going to, no doubt, blame Rachel for this whole thing. He broke up with me because of her, you know. And while it would be funny if he ended up banging Rachel, or even they just became friends. Even if it was purely a platonic thing, and I'm not for being hanging out with girls, and I have my reasons there, but even if it did for him, oh, that would infuriate Alexa to no end, and it would certainly be worth it. But who knows? We shall see. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this, and guys, definitely send me a good story that you find if you haven't come across one. Make sure it's a longer one for this channel, and also any good short stories I can do on the Clips channel. That channel's really grown, almost 25,000 subscribers. I appreciate you all for joining, and definitely send any of these good stories my way. strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com, and that also includes any of your own personal stories that I can cover on the Strong Successful Male channel. I got a never-ending supply of stories there. I'm like literally a couple months behind because I get so many, but I will get to the best ones if I can get to them. And if not, I'll be using them for my eventual website with everybody's permission, of course, which I'll be talking about later on down the road. That's a big thing coming down the road after I get settled in Florida, my new house next week. A lot coming up in the future. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.